Only 3% of seniors can still do these 5 things after 80 that reveal real longevity and health. If you're over 60 and struggling to balance on one foot for even 10 seconds, you need to hear this immediately. New research reveals that only 3% of people over 80 can still perform 5 specific abilities that separate the thriving from the declining. These aren't just party tricks, they're scientifically proven markers that predict how long you'll live and whether you'll maintain your independence. The most shocking part? Most doctors never tell their patients about these simple tests that could change everything. What I'm about to show you might be uncomfortable to hear, but it could add decades to your life. Stay with me because the 5th ability will absolutely surprise you. I know you're here because you're worried about getting older. Maybe you've noticed you're not as steady as you used to be, or perhaps you're concerned about becoming a burden to your family. Here's what most people don't realize. Aging isn't just about time passing. There are specific abilities that separate those who thrive well into their 90s from those who struggle after 70. Today, I'm going to reveal the 5 abilities that only 3% of seniors over 80 can still perform. We'll start with a simple balance test you can try right now in your living room, then move to a grip strength revelation that shocked researchers. I'll show you the memory technique that keeps minds sharp, the flexibility factor that prevents falls, and finally the adaptation superpower that doctors say is the strongest predictor of longevity. But here's what makes this different. I'm not just going to tell you what these abilities are. I'm going to show you exactly how to develop each one, starting today, regardless of your current age or fitness level. The best part? You don't need expensive equipment or gym memberships. Before we dive in, drop a comment below and tell me your age and your biggest concern about getting older. I read every single comment, and your honesty helps me create better content for our community. Let's start with something that will shock you. Can you stand on one leg for 30 seconds without holding on to anything? If you can't, you're not alone. But you need to pay attention to what I'm about to tell you. A groundbreaking study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine followed over 1,700 people aged 51 to 75 for 7 years. The results were stunning. Those who couldn't balance on one leg for 10 seconds had an 84% higher risk of death from any cause within the next decade. Think about that. A simple 10-second test predicted who would live and who wouldn't. Here's why this matters so much. Your balance system involves your inner ear, your vision, your muscles, and your brain all working together. When any part of the system starts failing, it's like a canary in a coal mine. It's warning you that other systems are declining too. Let me tell you about my neighbor, Ruth. At 78, she couldn't stand on one leg for even 3 seconds. Her doctor told her it was normal aging, but Ruth wasn't satisfied with that answer. She started with simple exercises, standing near a wall for support, then gradually letting go for longer periods. Within 6 months, she could balance for 25 seconds, but here's the amazing part. Her overall energy improved, her confidence soared, and she stopped using her walking cane around the house. Now let's test your balance right now. Stand near a wall or sturdy chair for safety, but don't hold on unless you need to. Lift one foot off the ground and try to hold for 30 seconds. Don't worry if you can't do it, that's why we're here. If you struggled with that test, here are 3 exercises that will transform your balance. First, the wall stand. Stand arm's length from a wall, place your palms flat against it, and practice standing on one leg whilst lightly touching the wall. Do this for 30 seconds, 3 times a day. Second, the heel-to-toe walk. Imagine you're walking on a tightrope. Place one foot directly in front of the other, heel touching toe, and walk forward 10 steps. This trains your body to maintain balance whilst moving. Third, the eye-closed challenge. Once you can balance on one leg for 15 seconds with your eyes open, try it with your eyes closed for just 5 seconds. This forces your inner ear and muscles to work harder. Here's what most people get wrong about balance. They think it's just about leg strength. But balance is actually about your brain's ability to process information quickly. When you practice these exercises, you're literally rewiring your neural pathways. The medical community used to believe that balance decline was inevitable after 60. We now know that's completely false. Your balance can improve at any age if you train it consistently. Have you tried the balance test? Drop a comment and let me know how long you could hold it. Don't be embarrassed if it was only a few seconds. Every expert was once a beginner, and I want to celebrate your starting point with you. Here's something that will change how you think about aging forever. Your hand grip strength is one of the most powerful predictors of your overall health, and most people have no idea. Researchers call it the crystal ball of aging because it reveals so much about what's happening inside your body. A massive study involving over 140,000 people across 17 countries found that grip strength was a better predictor of heart disease, stroke, and early death than blood pressure readings. Let that sink in. How hard you can squeeze is more important than one of the most commonly measured health metrics. Why is this so significant? Your grip strength reflects the health of your entire muscular system, your nervous system, and even your cardiovascular health. When your grip weakens, it's often the first sign that your body is losing muscle mass and bone density throughout. Let's do a simple test right now. Grab a hand towel and twist it as tightly as you can, like you're wringing out water. Hold that twist for 10 seconds. Could you do it easily, or did your hands start shaking? If you don't have a towel, try this. Make a fist and squeeze as hard as you can for 10 seconds. Your knuckles should turn white. Now here's the part that gives me hope, and it should give you hope too. Let me tell you about my friend's father, Carl. At 82, Carl could barely open a pickle jar. His family was worried he'd have to move to assisted living because he was struggling with basic tasks like turning doorknobs and carrying grocery bags. Carl's daughter bought him a simple grip-strengthening tool, but he was too proud to use it. Instead, he started doing something brilliant. He began carrying his groceries in from the car, one bag at a time, deliberately gripping the handles tighter than necessary. He started opening every jar in his kitchen during his morning routine, even if he didn't need what was inside. Within 4 months, not only could he open any jar, but his overall strength had improved so much that he started gardening again. Here are 4 ways you can dramatically improve your grip strength using things you already have at home. First, the newspaper squeeze. Take a full sheet of newspaper and crumple it into a tight ball using just one hand. Do this 5 times with each hand every morning. It's harder than it sounds, and it works muscles you didn't know you had. Second, the rubber ball technique. If you have a tennis ball or stress ball, squeeze it 15 times, hold the last squeeze for 5 seconds, then switch hands. Do this 3 times throughout the day. Third, the towel twist I mentioned earlier, but here's the advanced version. Twist the towel, then try to twist it in the opposite direction without letting go. This works muscles in both directions. Fourth, the finger pinch. Using your thumb and each finger, pinch and hold small objects like coins or buttons for 5 seconds each. This strengthens the small muscles that help with fine motor skills like buttoning shirts or typing. Here's what shocked researchers the most. Improving grip strength doesn't just help with opening jars. People who increased their grip strength showed improvements in walking speed, balance, and even cognitive function. It's like your hands are connected to your entire body's vitality. The beautiful thing about grip strength is that you can work on it anywhere, anytime. Waiting for your coffee to brew, squeeze a towel, watching TV, use a stress ball. The key is consistency, not intensity. What's your biggest struggle with hand strength? Is it opening jars, carrying bags, or something else? Share in the comments because I'm working on a detailed video about hand and wrist exercises, and I want to address your specific concerns. But here's where it gets really interesting. The next ability I'm going to share with you involves something happening in your brain that most people think is completely out of their control. Let me ask you something that might make you uncomfortable. When someone mentions a film from the 1970s, can you instantly recall not just the plot, but specific scenes, dialogue, and how you felt watching it? Can you remember your childhood phone number, your first address, and the names of all your primary school teachers? If you answered yes to most of those questions, you possess something remarkable that only 3% of people over 80 still have what scientists call crystallized memory access, combined with the ability to form new, detailed memories efficiently. Here's what most people don't understand about memory and aging. Yes, it's normal to occasionally forget where you put your keys or struggle to remember a name, but there's a huge difference between normal age-related changes and the severe memory decline that many people accept as inevitable. Dr. Lisa Mosconi's research at NYU revealed something incredible. The brain can actually grow new neurons and form new connections well into our 90s. This process, called neuroplasticity, means your memory can improve at any age if you know how to train it properly. Let me share the story method that has transformed thousands of seniors' memory abilities. This technique was used by ancient Greek orators to memorize hours-long speeches, and modern neuroscience has proven why it works so well. Here's how it works. Instead of trying to memorize isolated facts, you create a vivid story that connects everything together. Let's say you need to remember to take your medication, call your doctor, pick up groceries, and water your plants. Instead of writing a list, you create this story. I wake up and see my medication bottle has grown into a giant tree that needs watering. My doctor is sitting under the tree reading a grocery list out loud. Sounds silly, right? But your brain remembers stories 65% better than lists because stories engage multiple areas of your brain simultaneously. Now here's how to apply this to long-term memory preservation. Spend 10 minutes each day actively recalling and telling yourself detailed stories from your past. Don't just remember that you went to your school formal. Remember the color of your date's dress, the song that was playing during your first dance, how the gymnasium was decorated, who you sat with at dinner. This isn't just nostalgia. You're actually strengthening the neural pathways that store your life's memories. Think of it like exercising a muscle. The more you actively recall these detailed memories, the stronger those pathways become. For forming new memories, here are 3 daily exercises that will keep your mind sharp. First, the detail challenge. Each evening, try to remember 5 specific details from your day that you normally wouldn't pay attention to: the color of a stranger's shirt, what your coffee cup felt like in your hands, the exact words someone used in a conversation. Second, the learning ladder. Every week, learn one new thing that's completely outside your comfort zone. It could be a new word, a historical fact, or how something works. But here's the key. Teach it to someone else within 48 hours. Teaching forces your brain to organize and solidify the information. Third, the connection game. When you meet someone new or learn a new fact, immediately connect it to something you already know. John reminds me of my brother because they both have that same laugh. Or, this recipe is similar to Mum's, but with oregano instead of basil. Let me tell you about a woman named Alice who attended one of my workshops. At 79, Alice was convinced her memory was going downhill fast. She couldn't remember her grandchildren's friends' names and was getting frustrated with herself daily. Alice started using the story method for everything: her grocery shopping, her daily routine, even organizing her medicine cabinet. But the real breakthrough came when she began spending 15 minutes each morning actively recalling detailed memories from different decades of her life. Within 3 months, not only could Alice remember new names and information better, but she started recalling childhood memories she thought were lost forever. Her family was amazed when she began sharing stories from her youth with incredible detail. The neuroscience behind this is fascinating. When you actively practice detailed recall, you're strengthening the hippocampus, which is like the librarian of your brain. A stronger hippocampus doesn't just help with memory. It also improves your ability to navigate, make decisions, and even regulate emotions. Here's what gives me the most hope about memory. Unlike some physical abilities, your memory can actually get better with age if you have more experiences to draw connections from. Your 70-year-old brain has 7 decades of knowledge to connect new information to, which is an incredible advantage. What's one vivid memory from your childhood that you can still recall in perfect detail? Share it in the comments. I love reading about the moments that shaped your lives, and sharing these memories actually strengthens them. But the next ability might surprise you because it's not about your mind or your muscles. It's about something physical that determines whether you'll maintain your independence. Right now, I want you to try something. Sit on the edge of your chair, keep your legs straight, and try to reach toward your toes. How close can you get? Can you touch your toes, reach your ankles, or do you struggle to get past your knees? This simple test reveals something crucial about your future independence, and here's why it matters more than you might think. Flexibility isn't just about being able to touch your toes. It's about maintaining the range of motion you need for everyday activities that keep you living independently. A groundbreaking study from the American Journal of Medicine followed 2,000 adults over 65 for 10 years. Those who could sit and reach past their toes had a 23% lower risk of falls, were 35% more likely to be living independently at the end of the study, and had significantly fewer injuries requiring medical care. Here's what happens when you lose flexibility, and why only 3% of people over 80 maintain good range of motion. Your fascia, the connective tissue that wraps around your muscles, starts to thicken and stick together when it's not regularly stretched. It's like a rubber band that's been sitting in a drawer for years. Without regular movement, it becomes stiff and brittle. But here's the part that will give you hope. Unlike some aspects of aging, flexibility can be dramatically improved at any age. I'm going to tell you about someone who proved this in the most remarkable way. Meet Stanley, who at 85 couldn't bend over to tie his own shoes. His back was so stiff that getting dressed each morning was a 20-minute ordeal. His family was researching assisted living facilities because simple tasks were becoming impossible. Stanley's turning point came when his physiotherapist introduced him to what she called micro-stretching, just 2. 3 minutes of gentle stretching, 3 times throughout the day. No gym required, no special equipment, just consistent, gentle movement. Stanley started with the simplest possible movements. In the morning, he'd sit on the edge of his bed and gently reach toward his feet for 30 seconds. At lunch, he'd stand and slowly bend side to side. In the evening, he'd lie on his back and gently pull his knees toward his chest. The transformation was remarkable. Within 6 weeks, Stanley could tie his shoes again. Within 3 months, he was gardening. By month 6, he was more flexible than he'd been in his 60s. The key wasn't intensity, it was consistency and gentleness. Here are 5 stretching routines specifically designed for seniors that you can do anywhere. First, the doorway chest stretch. Stand in a doorway, place your hands on either side of the frame, and gently lean forward. This counteracts the forward posture that comes from years of sitting and opens up your chest and shoulders. Second, the seated spinal twist. Sit in a chair, place your right hand on your left knee, and gently rotate your torso to the left. Hold for 20 seconds, then switch sides. This keeps your spine mobile and prevents the stiffness that makes getting out of cars difficult. Third, the wall push stretch for your calves. Stand arm's length from a wall, place your palms flat against it, and step your right foot back 2 feet. Press your heel down and lean forward gently. This prevents the calf tightness that contributes to falls. Fourth, the gentle neck release. Sit tall and slowly lower your right ear toward your right shoulder. Don't force it. Just let gravity do the work. This relieves the neck tension that causes headaches and makes turning your head whilst driving difficult. Fifth, the hip flexor stretch. Whilst holding onto a counter for balance, step your right foot back into a gentle lunge position. This is crucial because tight hip flexors are one of the main reasons people develop a shuffling walk as they age. Here's what most people do wrong with stretching. They try to do too much too fast, or they give up because they don't see immediate results. Flexibility is like a savings account. Every gentle stretch makes a small deposit, and over time, those deposits compound into remarkable results. The medical research is clear. Maintaining flexibility directly correlates with maintaining independence. People who can easily bend, reach, and twist are more likely to continue driving, living alone, and participating in activities they love. But here's an important distinction. We're not trying to become gymnasts. We're maintaining the range of motion needed for real life, reaching into cabinets, getting up from chairs, looking over our shoulders whilst driving, bending to pick up dropped items. The beautiful thing about flexibility work is that it feels good immediately. Unlike strength training, which can be challenging, gentle stretching releases tension and often provides instant relief from aches and pains. What's your biggest flexibility challenge? Is it reaching overhead, bending forward, or turning your neck? Let me know in the comments, because understanding your specific needs helps me create more targeted content. Now we've covered balance, strength, memory, and flexibility. But the fifth ability, the one that doctors say is the strongest predictor of longevity, might surprise you because it has nothing to do with your physical body. Here's the ability that shocked researchers the most, and it's probably not what you're expecting. The strongest predictor of thriving after 80 isn't how fast you can walk, how much you can lift, or even your medical history. It's your ability to adapt to change and learn new things. Dr. Patricia Boyle's landmark study at Rush University followed over 1,000 seniors for up to 12 years. The results were astounding. Those who regularly challenged themselves to learn new skills had a 63% lower risk of developing dementia, lived an average of 2.6 years longer, and reported higher life satisfaction well into their 90s. Think about it. What separates the seniors who thrive from those who struggle isn't just physical health, it's mental flexibility. It's the willingness to figure out new technology, adapt to changes in their environment, and continue growing instead of just maintaining. Let me paint you a picture of what this looks like in real life. Do you know someone over 80 who learned to use a smartphone, started shopping online during the pandemic, or picked up a new hobby? Compare their energy and enthusiasm to someone who says, "I'm too old for that," or "You can't teach an old dog new tricks." The difference is striking, isn't it? One group continues to engage with the world, whilst the other gradually withdraws from it. And here's the fascinating part. This isn't about intelligence or education. It's about maintaining what scientists call cognitive flexibility. Let me tell you about someone who embodies this perfectly. Meet Henry, who at 78 had never touched a computer. When the pandemic started, he felt completely cut off from his family because he couldn't video chat with his grandchildren or see their photos online. Instead of accepting isolation, Henry made a decision that changed everything. He asked his neighbour's teenager to teach him computer basics, not just once, but every Tuesday for 3 months. Henry struggled, made mistakes, got frustrated, and sometimes wanted to quit. But here's what happened that amazed everyone, including Henry himself. Learning to use the computer didn't just help him stay connected with family. His problem-solving skills improved. His confidence soared. He started learning other new things, cooking recipes from YouTube, researching his family genealogy, even taking an online art class. Within a year, Henry had transformed from someone who felt left behind by the modern world to someone who was actively exploring it. His doctor noticed improvements in his memory, his family noticed improvements in his mood, and Henry noticed he felt more like himself than he had in years. Here's the science behind why adaptation is so powerful for longevity. When you learn something new, your brain creates new neural pathways. This process, called neuroplasticity, doesn't just help with the specific skill you're learning, it improves your brain's overall function and resilience. But here's the key. It has to be genuinely challenging and unfamiliar. Doing the same crossword puzzle every day doesn't count. Reading the same type of books doesn't count. You need to step outside your comfort zone and engage with something that makes your brain work in new ways. Here's my 15-minute rule that has helped thousands of seniors stay adaptable. Spend 15 minutes every day learning something completely new. Not reviewing something you already know, but genuinely learning. This could be watching a YouTube video about a topic you've never explored, trying to understand how something works that you've always taken for granted, learning 5 words in a foreign language, figuring out a new feature on your phone, or researching a place you've never been. Here are 4 specific ways to build your adaptation superpower. First, embrace technology gradually. Don't try to master everything at once. Pick one new digital tool per month. Maybe it's learning to use voice commands, figuring out online banking, or discovering how to stream films. The goal isn't to become a tech expert. It's to prove to yourself that you can learn new systems. Second, change your routine intentionally. Take a different route to familiar places. Shop at a different grocery store. Try a new restaurant. Order something you've never had before. These small changes keep your brain flexible and open to bigger adaptations. Third, Teach yourself something with your hands. Learn origami, try a new craft, attempt to fix something instead of calling for help immediately. Physical learning engages different parts of your brain and builds confidence in your ability to figure things out. Fourth, connect with younger generations as learners, not just teachers. Yes, you have wisdom to share, but also position yourself as someone curious about their world. Ask your grandchildren to explain social media, current music, or new slang. This mutual exchange keeps you connected to how the world is changing. The most inspiring part of adaptation research is this. People who maintain curiosity and learning throughout their lives don't just live longer, they enjoy those extra years more. They remain engaged, relevant, and excited about the future instead of just nostalgic about the past. Here's what I want you to understand. Being adaptable doesn't mean you have to like every change or embrace every new trend. It means maintaining the confidence that you can figure things out when you need to. What's one new thing you've learned in the past year that surprised you? Or if you can't think of anything, what's one thing you've been curious about but told yourself you're too old to learn? Share it in the comments because your curiosity might inspire someone else to take that first step. Imagine waking up tomorrow with the confidence that comes from knowing you can balance effortlessly whilst reaching for items on high shelves. Picture yourself opening any jar without struggle, your grip strong and steady. Envision your mind sharp and clear, easily remembering new names and recalling cherished memories in vivid detail. Think about moving through your day with fluid grace, bending to garden, reaching to hug grandchildren, turning to back out of parking spaces without stiffness or pain. Most importantly, imagine approaching each day with curiosity instead of fear, excited about what you might learn or discover rather than worried about what you might lose. This isn't wishful thinking. This is what happens when you develop these 5 abilities. Meet Sarah, who at 73 felt like her best years were behind her. She struggled with balance, couldn't open jars, forgot names constantly, felt stiff and achy, and had convinced herself she was too old to learn new things. 18 months later, Sarah leads nature walks for her hiking club, manages her investments online, remembers everyone's names at social gatherings, practices yoga 3 times a week, and just learned to use a smartphone to video chat with her great-grandchildren across the country. The transformation wasn't magic. It was the compound effect of consistently working on these 5 areas. Each ability reinforced the others, creating an upward spiral of vitality and confidence. Your age isn't a limitation. It's simply your starting point. Every day you wait is a day you could have been building these abilities. But every day you start is the first day of a stronger, sharper, more adaptable you. If this video opened your eyes to what's possible for your future, hit that like button and share it with someone who needs this hope today. Which of these 5 abilities are you most excited to work on? Drop a comment and let me know. I read every single one, and your journey inspires others to start their own. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Remember, age is just a number, but vitality is a choice. You have more control over your future than you realize, and it's never too late to start building the life you want. See you in the next video.